Hello, annyeonghaseyo and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn the word formation in Korean language. Korean language works in a block system. They have different blocks to make a word, a meaningful word. Today we will learn that. So let's not waste any more time and get into it. The first block that we are going to learn is consonant and vowel. Let's see how it works. It's a consonant and we are going to place a vowel beside it. Na. You can make another words like ka. Let's look into another block. That is consonant, vowel, but this time upside down, up and down. Let's put a consonant g and then a vowel. You can say ko. That basically looks like this, ko. It is one of the second blocks that we're going to learn today. Then let's look into another block, and that is C, V, C. Consonant, vowel and consonant. What is the example of this? Let's say consonant, vowel, consonant. Nun. That basically looks like this, nun. So we have learned 3 blocks. Let's look at some other blocks. For our next blocks, we need to know what is final consonants. Final consonants sit at the end of a word, a block, and final consonants are consonants. For the next block that we are going to learn is 4-syllable block. First is consonant, then choose a vowel, and again a final consonant and a final consonant. Ik. Ik is basically the stem verb of ikta, that means to study. Consonant, vowel, vowel. So let's make a word. Consonant, vowel, vowel. That looks like this. Okay, now we know how to make words in Korean, but these were not meaningful words. Let's make some meaningful words. Like, say you wanna say study. Ik, then dha. This basically means to study. Then you may wanna say Korea. How would you say Korea? Korea is Hanguk. Then what is for America? For America is Miguk. Then how do you say British? Yongguk. Now you know how to make words, meaningful words. Now that we have made meaningful words, now it's time to make some meaningful sentences. Korean language system has different formation other than English. How do you say in English a sentence? Let's look at an English sentence. I love you. What is the formation? Subject plus verb plus object, right? But you can't say like that in Korean. Korean has a formation different than that. So let's suppose, what is I for Korean? 저. Love. 사랑하다. And for you? No. It's totally wrong to say like that in Korean. Korean has different formation than English sentences, and that is they have subject plus particle plus object plus particle, that is basically object marking particles, plus verb. The verb comes at the end of a sentence. Then if you want to say this sentence correctly in Korean, you have to say 저는, that is subject marking particle, then object 너, and object marking particle is 르, 너를, and then verb 사랑. And you can leave the verb like this. You have to remove this part from there and you have to conjugate the verb. And how do you conjugate it? 사랑해. 저는 너를 사랑해. And you can say it in different forms. Like 저는 너를 사랑해요. It is formal. Then you can say 저는 너를 사랑합니다. That is very polite in Korean. The 합니다 ending is very much polite, and that is not likely to be used nowadays in Korean. Then you might want to say your name in Korean. So how do you say your name in Korean? 저는 미야입니다. That is, I am Mia. You might have another name like 저는 예린입니다. You can say it like 예린 이에 오 or 예린 이야. This is very polite, this is formal, and this is informal. Informal. Now let's make some other sentences. Let's say I eat. 저는 먹어. Eat is 먹다, and you have to change it into an acceptable form, and that is 먹어. And if you want to be polite, you can add yo at the end. That would be polite. Let's say you want to say I like a cat. Cat is 고양이. Like is 좋다. And I, you know already, I is 저. 저는 subject marking particles. Then it will come object 고양이 and object marking particle, and 좋다 need to be conjugated, and it will be 좋아. 저는 고양이를 좋아. I like a cat. And you can say it indifferently, like 저는 고양이가 좋아요. Subject marking particles are 은, 는, 이, 가, and this can be used vice versa. There is no specific rules for using it. You can use like 저는 고양이가 가. You can see that 를 can be used and 가 can be used. Both can be used in the same sentence, and this is totally acceptable. Now let's make some other sentences to get a very clear conception. Suppose you want to say that you love your mother. I love my mother. How will you say it? For I, it's 저는. Love will be at the end. My, for my, it is 저이. 저 is I. 저 is I. And that I, it means apostrophe S. So it basically means I's or my. So 저희 is for my. Mother is 어머니 or 엄마. So let's say 저는 저희 엄마. You can either use real particle or 가 particle. 엄마가 love, 사랑해. 저는 저희 엄마가 사랑해. And here is the good news for you. Like in English, there are subject, object, articles, subject, verb, or agreement. But in Korean language system, doesn't have articles and subject, verb, agreement. Korean language system doesn't have articles and subject, verb, agreement. Like if you want to say I ate, you will say 저는 I eat. 저는 먹어. And if you want to say he eats, you will say 그는 먹어. see the verb is the same, but in English you see it, and it's its. There is an S, that is a rule, and that's it, that in Korean language doesn't have. Korean language is much easier in the terms of grammar, like in these cases. Now that we know how to make sentence and how to make meaningful words, let's see some other words. 안녕하세요, hello. 아버지, 아버지, father. 어머니, 어머니, mother. 누나, 누나, older sister. 언니, 언니, older sister. 오빠, 오빠, older brother. 아이, 아이, baby. 남자아이, 남자아이, boy baby. 여자아이, 여자아이, girl baby. 아이들이, 아이들이, children. 남자아이, 남자아이, boyfriend. 여자아이, 여자아이, girlfriend. 친구, 친구, friend. 할아버지, 할아버지, grandfather. 할머니, 할머니, grandmother. 우상, 우상, idol. 감사합니다, 감사합니다, thank you. 환영합니다, 환영합니다, welcome. 죄송합니다, 죄송합니다, sorry. 미안합니다, 미안합니다, sorry. 어서 오십시오, 어서 오십시오, welcome. 고맙습니다, 고맙습니다, thank you. 네, 네, yes. 예, 예, yes. 아니요, 아니요, no. 만나서 반갑습니다, 만나서 반갑습니다, nice to meet you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up.